5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All engine running.
All aboard!
1, 2, 3, 4.
Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Liftoff and the clock has started.
4 computers now have primary control of critical vehicle functions.
Good morning. Boker Tov. Good morning world. It's me, Rory Alec. Whether you're in India, right across Asia, time to dust the sleep out the eyes. It's time to wake up and shine.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Casting from the heart of Europe. It's me here in Austria. To you guys out there, a big God bless you. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. It's time to celebrate.
1, 2, 3, 4.
That's right, Jesus is alive. He's on the throne.
Nice to be in orbit.
And he loves you this morning. The chickens are up, the rooster's crowing. It's time for Good Morning World. Good morning world. Me, Rory Alec. Great to be with you this morning, guys. Welcome. It's fabulous. It's Thursday. Oh my goodness me. Breakthrough Thursday. And I've got a very interesting program, I think, lined up for today. Yep, we're going to go back memory lane. You know, I'm filming this on Wednesday, which is a birthday day for my darling wife. You're watching this on Thursday or whenever you choose to watch it. And so my participation or my ability to focus and pull this program together has been quite limited, beloved. So I thought, why don't I continue with the theme of Austria? And today you, instead of watching me like earlier this week, go up the Schafberg mountain in a red train, why don't you watch me conquer a mountain, or at least attempt to conquer the mountain? Will he or won't he do that? At the same time, I'll leave my beautiful bride in the village in the plains below, while I dare to venture to the top of the peak with my son, because my darling bride, who's a lovely Austrian girl, will teach us all how to make Apfelstrudel. That's right. I'm sure most people that I know love apple strudel. And yeah, what you get from the store is great. But when you can have a lovely Austrian girl make apple strudel from scratch, it's fascinating. You don't want to miss it, ladies. And gentlemen, by the way. I still haven't attempted the original from the beginning all the way to the end of something yummy to eat. But one day I might. I'm being quite adventurous in this new phase of my life with regard to cooking, baking, etc., etc. So lots coming up on this program. Don't miss it. It's going to be, needless to say, and I speak for myself, it's going to be hysterical to watch this man try and climb this Austrian mountain. We're also going to have viewer birthday shout-outs in a few moments. Lots more to come. How are you doing? I pray that you guys are well. I know it gets quite uncomfortable when he pauses and he doesn't talk. He just looks at you, you know. I am not live streaming yet, but I'm hoping to be live streaming this Good Morning World from the 24th of May. That's next month when we kick off the hard launch of Good Morning World. Good Morning World. At the moment, everything is pre-produced. It's edited the day before. It's rendered. It's played out. It's uplinked, etc., etc. Takes a lot of time. At the moment, yours truly is working between 14, 18-hour days to pull it together, because it's me, myself, I. And nothing works wonderfully well when it's me, myself, I. Although I am grateful, because I'm finding that I'm able to, with his assistance, absolutely set a template, at least the beginnings of, and get a feeling for this. And of course, you guys, as you're discovering this whole new Good Morning World with Rory Alec, thanks for your kind words and your great wishes. I really, really do appreciate it. So, yeah, lots coming up. But let's just give a shout out to one of my Facebook friends, Paul Crouch Jr. He had something on his timeline today which made me giggle. Yeah, good-looking chap there, Paul. Paul Crouch Jr., president of PJ Video in the USA, and you look very dashing and very formal there, Paul. I must admit, very formal. I know him as a lot more informal and jovial. In fact, the post is really what tickles Paul Crouch's fancy. And I love it. Here we see Moses holding up the 2 tablets, and of course it says, so technically Moses was the first man to download files from the cloud using a tablet. Love it, Paul. Thanks for posting that. Put a smile on my dial. Let's get on with birthdays this morning. It is April the 15th. It's halfway through the month. I started my diet today. Yep. Yesterday I couldn't diet. It was birthday cake and celebration and all of that stuff. And while you guys will be mouth-watering and believe you me, when you finish watching Corolla make this apple strudel, I'm fairly confident you'll want to give it a go yourself. And it's delicious, I'm telling you. No wonder it's hard for me to keep the weight off, right? Blame it on someone else, Rory. That's a good way to start this Breakthrough Thursday. Birthday time, kicking off. It's April. 273 of my Facebook friends, at least, and maybe a few more, are having their birthdays. And I want to just kick off on this Thursday and wish Maureen Valentine a very happy birthday. Bishop Judy Jones Chatham, it's Thursday, it's the 15th, happy birthday. Tammy Lang Jensen, Jennifer Farouk, Monique Elizabeth Ollier Syke. Now that's an interesting surname, Monica or Monica. It's one thing to get these names right, so if I mispronounce your names, ladies and gentlemen, please forgive me. Then we move on to Lisa McFarland. Lisa is doing a fundraiser for Warring Dove International Ministries, so if you want to join her and support her, she had a goal of 169 euros, smashed it out the park. Lisa, maybe you need to raise a little bit more money. Seems like you got a lot of support on your birthday. Tracy Wells, happy birthday. Gerald Sexton, happy birthday. Susan Babar, happy birthday. And Lois Scott, my goodness me, Ken and Lois Scott, old friends of mine. Although ever since my divorce, and that's a sad thing when it comes to divorce, people tend to take sides. And I don't blame them at all. But Lois, if you're watching this morning, a big God bless you, and I hope you have a fantastic birthday. And I hope Ken spoils you rotten. Miss you guys, appreciate you guys. You have been a blessing to me in my life many, many, many times. So until we meet again, dear Lois, and to all of you, I wish you have a wonderful birthday. The Lord bless you, keep you, make his face to shine upon you. And all of those wonderful things as we together celebrate you guys. Now, what comes up after the break? Let's procrastinate no further. Can he climb this mountain that's over 1,300 meters high, 1.3 kilometers on his own 2 legs? And you're going to giggle. There are some pretty, to me, there were profound statements at the different stages as I went along. But I want to encourage you, when you have something to tackle, when you have to break through on something, it's like conquering that mountain. And you just have to keep taking one step after another. So, let's take some steps. Let's climb a mountain. And don't forget that while I'm sweating like a pig, what can I say? Sweating like a pig. The girl is making one of the most delicious apfelstrudels. Will I get to the top? Will I get back? We'll find out after the break.
Good morning, world.
Hi, my name is Corolla and I'm Rory's wife, and I'm going to show you today how to make apfelstrudel with dough that you can pull. You can make the dough yourself and you can pull the dough.
All right. Yesterday I threatened to do it, today I'm doing it. And got these sticks so the camera was going to be clumsy, sorry about that. It's not going to be a pretty sight because we're sweating. Kristen and I are climbing to the top of the Schafberg. And I just want to say for a moment, this is what life is like. You know at some point you're going to get to the top of that mountain. It's going to be spectacular, and I really hope today on this vlog we get there. It's a long ways up. Down in the valley it's beautiful, it's green, it's wonderful, and then you walk halfway up the mountain, or a good part of the mountain, and you're on roads. The path is broad, but then it gets narrow, and you've got these trees on either side. Overpowering canopy of trees. It's quite foreboding. It just reminds me of life, because there's seasons of our lives where we go through this dynamic and we think, God, am I ever going to get out of this? Lord, are you ever going to take me to a place of broadness, a place where I can breathe, where I can rest, somewhere I can settle down and get blue skies, sunshine? Well, there's only one thing to keep doing when you're in this environment in your life. Keep taking another step, keep walking, keep moving forward.
Grams of flour. That is maybe the most important thing for you to know if you want to do this recipe. You need a flour that is a very finely ground flour. We call it in German glattes Mehl. And of this I take 250 grams. Then I put a little bit of salt in, take a little bit of vinegar in, and a little bit of oil. So I have a scale here because it has to be very exact. This one I measure with my spoon here, like a spoon. If you take the double amount of flour, you can take a tablespoon, but that's enough vinegar for that. 25 grams of oil. Now, I don't have a guess how much that would be, so I put it on the spoon first.
Got a bit of sunshine here. We've been climbing a goodly ways. You finally get out of that and you come into something that looks a bit better. In life, at least in my life, you may come into a temporary clearing, but you know ahead of you, you've still got to go into more woods, more hills and more steepness.
The temporary clearing is full of stinging nettles.
Yeah. And then there you go. Back into steep climbing.
So that's good. So this is 125 milliliters of water. Now I put this in here.
Okay, as I told you guys on Spirit Soul Body vlog, this is a piece of my life. I never promised it would be pretty. I never promised it would be pleasant to watch, but it is nevertheless a video journal. What am I saying? That hill. And as Christian rightly says, it doesn't look very steep on camera, but believe you me, no heart attacks today. You're fit, man. You're amazing.
And now it gets messy, you know. And that's what I'm doing now. I washed my hands nicely, take my rings off. My dad loves Apfelstrudel and he asked for it. And since we're at his place at the moment in Salzburg, I thought this would be a great thing to do. And I know also that Rory loves Apfelstrudel, so.
Marching to the top of the mountain. Okay, just down here my heart was racing. So much so that I decided to sit down on this cut tree. We came from down there somewhere. Oh my goodness, that's a lot of work. Again, my son is completely right. You can't grasp the level of incline we're facing here. It is really impressive. All right, how are you guys? At this point, I want you to feel very sorry for me and subscribe to my channel. Talking about something deep and profound to say. Seriously, Christian and I were talking. When you're climbing this hill, you very quickly get to the place, and I don't know about you guys who are serious mountain climbers, maybe you can comment and give me the inside scoop, but we are climbing a pretty formidable piece of mountain today. And as Christian and I were saying, you really need to focus in and just keep taking the next step. Don't rush when you're climbing the mountain of life. I think we all do at seasons of our lives. We go through some pretty steep crap, excuse my language. Keep putting one foot before the other. That's all I can tell you. What do you think?
Yeah, we're climbing a mountain. We're gonna get to the top and it's gonna be fun.
That's where we're going. Up there, Christian. just hurts me to think about it.
The trick is to not think about it.
So we're getting there now. If you want to have a look into what I'm doing, I've just kept on, you know, and you see it gets already into a doughish consistency. You also feel it as you do it that it gets softer. Once you've done it very often, you know what it should feel like, but in the beginning I would recommend 10 minutes, it's gonna be for sure fine. What you now can do is like...
Yeah, pretty steep. No, I need 2 sticks. I can't have one hand holding a camera.
My grandmother used to make that. Both of my grandmothers, my grandmother from my dad's side, my grandmother from my mom's side. I always used to love this dish. So I thought I better learn how to make it.
For me, I'd love to get out of these trees. There we go. We're getting there. In fact, I can see the Alps right in the distance. I don't know if you guys can see that. That is really beautiful. But I think we've got halfway and I'm exhausted. I really am tired.
A little more now. It's getting nice and soft now. It's like when you make a cake normally and you would do it, you know, then you also wait till it gets like a little bit of blisters when you do it with the normal machine, you know. Air comes into the dough, that's what it feels like. And it gets soft and smooth and you see it looks fine already.
Look down there.
Oh man, look at that. God's creation is magnificent. That down there is our little village. In fact, you...
Herb garden, see?
Yes, that's the herb garden there, just above that stick. Well, we're about halfway. We got to keep going.
A little more now.
You want to see what we're looking at? This is what we're looking at. That's my second born, Mr. Incredible Sun. I hate this camera. It doesn't tell you how high we are. Trust me, we're high. We're up in the heavenlies here. The extraordinary thing is that those cows on the hill are higher than we are. And I just can't have that. At least we're not in the woods anymore. Hello girls, watch out for that cow poo. Oh my goodness, at last. And look, that's where we're going, Christian.
Yeah.
We're nearly there.
Yep.
Oh, I know we've still got somewhere to go, but one can get really demoralized. The good news is you do come out. Look at this. It's magnificent. What?
Forget that, man.
The hills are alive with the sound of music, with songs they have sung.
Everyone saying hi. We still got to go up there. For many of you, of course, know me from God TV days. I was the co-founder of God TV with my ex-wife. We built the ministry up for 20 years, one of the fastest growing Christian television platforms outside of America for sure. I stepped down from that because of my divorce. So for me, it's been an extraordinary change of events, and of course lots of pain involved, not just for me, for many people. And I'm not going to share much about that at this stage, but in posts in the future, as you guys are for me and with me, that doesn't mean to say you agree with everything that I do or say. This is going to be really the team that I hope to build with. And so I need to focus on the body, because just climbing with Christian as we're trying to get at the top of that up there, you've got to be fit, you've got to be strong, you've got to be healthy. As best as you can, and as much as in your power, look after this temple. And so that's the vision down the road. Yep, hoping to go live every Sunday on Facebook, Sunday evening, Sunday night live. Progressive vision that will unfold, and as I say, I won't share too much more.
It looks a little bit like a pizza dough. It's very fine now. And what we do now is I take a little bit of that oil, put it in, just to, you can also take a new vessel, you know, if you want to, but I'm just using the same one. Put it in here and turn it around so that it stays oily. And now we let it rest. You can rest for 2 hours, you can rest for 4 hours. My experience is the longer it rests, the better you can pull it.
You could come up a train from St. Wolfgang's, up the train. You could hop off at this little station here, which has a name.
But if you did that, you'd bring shame to your house and family.
And some sugar. I have a cloth here now. I'm putting a little bit of flour on. And be sure that your hands are washed. It's one of the very important things, because you're gonna work with your hands a lot. So, here it is. Where it's thick, you know, you can pull it first. And then you go always thinner and thinner and thinner.
That's extraordinary. We've got a long way to go. When you think that you're nearly at the top, you're really not. The view is just stupendous. Moments ago we were with that lovely group of cows, and that's how far we've left them behind. I've got a long way to go. Here we go. Let's move on. We've taken a unanimous democratic vote. Christian and I are coming down on that train.
Sometimes you see it wants to tear quickly, and then you have to be more careful. See, it can get as thin as here, that you can see my hand through. Can go very thin. That's now a matter of taste. Also, how thin do you want your dough to be?
I think that's the highest I've climbed anywhere in the world. Station down the bottom there, so you can see how far we've come. There's my son, and we have to go way beyond there. So there's nothing more to do but to keep climbing.
I myself don't mind if it's not everywhere totally thin, because I actually like the dough, you know, it has a nice taste. This is the part where you need to be really careful. I think we are pretty much there. It starts to hang over here on that side. So now I'm gonna cut the edges, because otherwise if you keep that on, you get, if you roll it in, you can imagine then you have this thick part inside, and that's not so nice. So now what I have here is actually like another dough. So you can knit it again. I'm using the word knit, but you say kneading to it. And it starts to become a little new one. So you can put it into oil again, let it rest a little bit, and fill that one then also nicely with something you like.
Christian's doing great. His dad is struggling. And we've still got some way to go. I'd be speaking with much more passion and energy if I had it, but I don't. Joys of youth.
I always start with the breadcrumbs. I'm going to start here on that side and I'm going to fill about 2/3 of it. Sugar on it. And it's nice to start with this dry thing because the apples have a little bit of fluid that the dough doesn't get too soft. I often do this with my hands, you know, because I have a better feeling for it, but for the vlog I thought it's better to do it with not the apples. So, okay, the apples go on like I always do that. I cut them, as you see, in fourths and then make these slices and put a little bit of lemon on it so they don't get too brown. Can spread it a bit more. So this is the reason why I do it on the tablecloth, because the tablecloth will help me to roll it, you will see. Do it the opposite around. I'm putting now sugar first. So we start with the breadcrumbs and we end with the breadcrumbs. Now I'm putting cinnamon on it. That will give it a nice flair. You can also put raisins in, what I won't do. But if your family loves raisins, you can put raisins in. You can also, what is a nice trick, I sometimes do that at around Christmas time, if you have some nice cinnamon Christmas cookies, you could also put them, you know, you could put them on, like make them very fine and put them on instead of the breadcrumbs. So the breadcrumbs go over it, so the apples are covered with this texture. Now comes the magic moment of rolling the dough. My recommendation is you put the ends in a little bit so that the apples cannot fall out. On these sides here, you put the ends in. It's like a paper, very thin paper. Put the whole edge in, if you have more. And now I will roll it.
All right, made it. Please know this about life. Even when you can see your goal in sight, you're not there until you get to the top. And it's a fact, the hardest part is always the last few steps.
It's free. Down.
Is it free down?
Yeah.
And the train is free all the way down. But Christian and I have got one more little trip to go up there, because we're going to have a cold beer and a schnitzel.
That's it now. That's the finished one. You can put these together a little bit here. I would say this baby's done.
Christian and I made it to the top of Schlossberg, and look at that. We're sharing a schnitzel. Change my shirts out, everything's soaked. Don't forget to join the closed face group if you like the vlogs and you want to have more closer interaction with me.
So, you can just take it and quickly lift it over. So, normally you would put an egg on it if you bake something, but in this case, don't put an egg on it, but put some melted butter on it or some water. put it into the oven on, I do it between 160 to 200 degrees, depending on how hot the oven is. Then when it's baked, we will show it to you. There it is.
And now we get to catch that train down there. And they say if you can walk up, you can go down free. We're about to find out if that's the case. Okay, so here's the bottom line. You won't believe it, we're walking down this damn mountain. Christian and I walked up this mountain all the way from the little village of Winkel. We were under the impression we get a free ride down on the train, and guess what? No free ride down on the train. So we are walking, right? Anyway. The good news is, it's a lot easier coming down than going up, but it's still a long way home. We couldn't catch the train, but we got a ride. No, it's not cheating, okay? I walked from Winkel, the bottom little village, all the way up. I get a ride down.
So I put some custard sugar on. Okay, that's about how it should look. And if you make it at home, good appetite to you when you enjoy yours.
What do you say?
What an experience, climbing that mountain. I loved being with my son. It was a privilege, a joy. Beautiful children I have. And for him it was a breeze. It was like a, as you saw. It was the most delicious beer and schnitzel I think I've ever had. The views were magnificent. Whenever you come to Austria, make sure you tackle the Schafsberg. That whole area of Salzburg is beautiful. And the Schafberg mountain with that red train, I advise go up with the red train. As you saw me do earlier this week, don't try and climb it. However, if you love to climb and if you're fit and full of energy, climb it. It's wonderful.
Good morning, morning, morning.
It doesn't matter what we're going through. Of course it matters what we're going through, but bear with me, I'm going to finish my statement. It doesn't matter what we're going through. When we have the knowledge that we are abiding under the shadow of the Most High, no matter how uncomfortable it is, if we have the knowledge, the knowing that I know I'm standing on the rock, I'm standing on the cornerstone, Jesus is my foundation, we will break through. We will break through into a wide open place. If you're traveling right now through the valley of the shadow of death, and you're feeling claustrophobic, you're feeling like you're dying, you might physically be dying. If it is not your time to be with Him, you will come through into a wide place. You will break through into a place where you could say, the Lord is my shepherd. I have no lack. He leads me into green pastures. I rest by the still waters. We are called to flourish, whether in heaven, whether on earth. It doesn't matter. Once you and I have been washed in the blood of Jesus and we have been adopted into the family of God, we are part of the body of Jesus. We are called to flourish. Whether there's hard times, whether you're wrestling, struggling, pressed in from every side, and you're having to break through. If we remain tapped into Him, abiding in Him, we will break through. I'm going to finish this morning's daily grind with you guys. I'm going to carry on grinding for a few more moments, but I want to read the scripture. It came up on my daily devotional app on Tuesday, but I felt it is appropriate for this morning. I could honestly say this is God speaking to us this morning. Psalms, and you'll know it well, 46, verse 10. Be still and know that I am God. I will be exalted among the nations. I will be exalted in the earth. What do you and I have to do? Rush around frantic, panicking, crying out, frustrated, angry, sad, miserable? No. Our responsibility is to be still and to know. So I will focus as much as my energy can allow me to study Him, to study His Word, to study His Son, Yeshua, who is my Lord and Savior, and to pray in my heavenly language, to build up myself and to be edified so that I can know, be still and know. And that's God speaking to us. Be still and know that I am God. I will be exalted in the earth, and I will be exalted amongst the nations.
Good morning, world.
Well, that wraps it up. I hope you have a wonderful day. I hope it's easy. I hope it's peaceful. I hope it's blessed. But whatever it is, He is with you. Dwell under His shadow and break through on this Thursday. Morning, noon or night, I'll be back tomorrow morning. Thank God it's Friday, with lots more to share, and perhaps even more on Austria. My week's been quite different than I planned, but hey, man makes his plans, God orders his steps. He certainly is helping me with mine. Until tomorrow morning, lots of love from me, Rory Alec. Ciao for now.
Love to hear from you guys. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. Hit that little bell notification at the bottom. Every time we post something, you'll be getting it. To all my patrons, thank you so much for your support, guys. Without you, until tomorrow morning, lots of love. Keep smiling, keep shining. From me, Rory Alec.
Welcome home. Beautiful, beautiful.
Good morning, morning, morning.